Property taxes are going up in 2023, and I'm going to tell you why, how it will affect you, and what you can do about it. Most of you will see property taxes go up this year. Most of you will see it in one of two places. Number one, your mortgage payment will be adjusted upwards with your annual escrow statement. Number two, you will get a bigger bill to pay at the end of the year. So whether you make mortgage payments and have the taxes spread out or pay the bill manually at the end of the year, the dollars you are paying are very real. Every year, most people glance at their annual assessment notices and toss it aside, especially people who have mortgages. They say to themselves, oh, it's only a small payment increase, and the matter is resolved for that year. They also think that they can't do anything about it. Guess what? Your county's tax assessor's office will love you for it. However, if you're like me, I'm not going to pay any more taxes than I have to, and I'm willing to put a little work and effort to learn to have my taxes reduced. I am not willing to sit quietly year after year while my property taxes are increased. But before I get into all that, let me explain why property taxes are going up in 2023. As you watch this video in 2023, you might be saying to yourself that the real estate market is stagnant and prices haven't changed much in 2023. What you may not know is that the property tax assessments are based on property values of the year prior. More specifically, what was the value of your property on January 1, 2023? A big part of determining 2023 property tax assessments is looking at the actual sales in 2022. Although the last half of 2022 was certainly a tumultuous year for most real estate markets, as a whole, property values still jumped up substantially from 2021 to 2022. It is for this reason that you need to pay special attention to your 2023 tax assessments. Your 2023 tax assessments will likely be increased because of the increased values from 2021 to 2022. A lot of people don't know that tax assessors' offices compile and import previous year's sales data into their mass appraisal system. When it comes to single-family homes, the majority of these sales are based on fixed-up, repaired, renovated, or retail-ready homes. This skews property values higher. As such, there is not an apples-to-apples comparison, especially for people who have lived in their homes for over 2 years, or they have rental properties with tenants in them. Most lived-in occupied properties by homeowners or tenants are not retail-ready. Many occupied properties have damage, deferred maintenance, and substantial wear and tear on them. As such, you will not get top dollar value compared to a fixed-up retail-ready property on the open market. On this basis alone, it's my opinion that most properties will need an adjustment to lower the assessed value. When your property assessed lower, you then end up with a lower property tax bill. That's how it works. But the only way to do this is to learn how to do a property tax appeal. You can certainly hire it out, but for most single-family home owners, it's a bit expensive to hire it out, especially when you can learn to do it yourself. It really isn't that difficult if you take the time to learn it. If you have watched this video so far and not tuned me out, congratulations. You are one of the few people who want to take better control of your financial affairs. Part of taking control is managing your taxes, in this case, property taxes. Statistically speaking, in Georgia, do you know that only 2 to 5% of property owners ever file a tax appeal? And even fewer actually see it all the way through to get a property tax freeze. What this tells me is that most people blindly accept the property tax bill as is. I don't recommend you be one of those people. I help property owners that want to help themselves. Now, I know some of you watching this video will perk up about a property tax freeze. Because I work and own property in Georgia, that tax freeze refers to Georgia property owners. In your county or state, you may have additional property tax benefits, such as senior exemptions, having your property taxes limited to a certain percentage, or even have your values frozen for as long as you live in the property. But for the rest of us, we are living in the wild with very few protections from property tax increases. Georgia provides property owners a 3-year property tax freeze for people who are willing to go all the way in the tax appeal process. You do not have to live in Georgia to get this benefit. You only have to own property in Georgia and then go through the tax appeal process. Another great thing about Georgia is that there are no filing fees to file your own property tax appeals. Now, a quick plug. I am currently writing a book on how you can learn how to do your own property tax appeals in Georgia. The title is Tax Freeze: How to File and Win Property Tax Appeals in Georgia. I've done about 200 tax appeals in the last dozen years for myself, associates, and clients. Every year for almost 10 years, I am helping someone or teaching someone how to do their property tax appeal. However, I cannot help everyone personally due to the time and distance constraints. There are, after all, 159 counties in Georgia. I can't be everywhere, and I certainly can't track all 159 counties. However, my new book will help me reach and educate more property owners such as yourself. My new book should be out the second quarter of 2023, right on time for the 2023 property tax appeal season. Be on the lookout for updates of my new book. Now, continuing on with the property tax increase discussion. Technically speaking, if you go through and complete the Georgia property tax appeal process, the value assessed on your property gets frozen for 3 tax years. That is how the property tax freeze works. However, it is still possible for your property taxes to increase for other reasons, such as special assessments or millage increases. But for most people, freezing their assessed values generally means that the property taxes they pay at the end of the year will not change very much from year to year. Always do yourself a favor and look at your annual assessment notice carefully. Don't throw it aside, please. Don't do that. Some of you might be thinking, what about 2024? Well, no one really knows how the rest of 2023 will pan out, much less 2024. It's my general opinion that property values tend to go up, so you do want to freeze your property taxes whenever you can. However, if you do find yourself in a situation where your property values do drop, or your property's condition is such that the value is actually lower, the next year you can file another property tax appeal at that time. In Georgia, you don't have to be stuck with the frozen value. Now, if you want to learn more about how the Georgia property tax freeze works, I recommend you check out this next video. I also have several other tax appeal videos on my channel, so you should subscribe to stay updated. I also have a quick message from my cat, Lexi. She tells me to remind you to hit that like button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.